What's up, you guys? I'm Jacob.
And I'm Ashley.
And we are so excited to be here with you for our first weekly EFY video.
It's time to put on the traditional lanyards and officially kick off EFY 2020.
Yeah, that's right. So what happens today?
Today we get to hear from one of our amazing session directors, Brother Knowlton. So make sure you have something to take notes with.
And before you run off and get your stuff, we want to introduce you to our counselors for this summer. We'd like to welcome Kristen and Taylor.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, what's up?
Taylor and Kristen will be joining us next week to introduce the variety show.
And during our virtual EFY this summer, they'll be teaching us to line dance.
Anything you guys want to add to that?
Yeah, the party's arrived and we were so excited to be with you guys all summer.
So get ready to dance, laugh, and have an amazing summer.
Now go get your stuff and get ready to take notes.
Have fun. See you next week.
Bye guys.
All right, Ashley, who did you say our session director was for today?
It's Brother Knowlton, and he is ready to go.
Well, let's get to it.
All right, thank you, Ashley and Jacob. Appreciate it. I'm so grateful to be here with you guys today. I just wanted to introduce myself really quick and I'll let you know who I am. My name is Ben Knowlton, and I've been presenting with EFY for the last 14 years or so. And kind of bummed with you guys that we don't have to, don't have the camps to come out to and be part of this year. But I think this will be a great alternative. We can find a lot of good things and have some kind of association here online with you guys. So anyway, I love to ski. I love to ride my bike. And I love to listen to audiobooks, eat ice cream, and sing karaoke. My wife doesn't like to be with me when I'm singing karaoke, but I definitely love to sing karaoke. So anyway, I'm just here to kind of introduce to you some of these session director messages. And I wanted to highlight a little bit today. I've been working the last 6 years with a camp at BYU, a summer camp at BYU called Habits for Life, which is now part of EFY. And Habits for Life is a really awesome, it's an awesome experience that explores the various principles of life that aren't necessarily scriptural or religious, but are very much cross-cultural and kind of non-denominational. And so we have, there's so many things that are just awesome about Habits for Life. And so I want to just kind of give you a little preview of some of the things that, maybe a sampling of some of those good things that come from Habits for Life. Anyway, we have just to kind of give you a vision of what it's all about. This is a statement by Richard L. Evans. It's a wonderful thing to be faithful, but a much greater thing to be both faithful and competent. And so Habits for Life kind of addresses the competent issues. So all those things, those principles to help you be more confident and more effective in your life. When young people can acquire the skills, the techniques, and the knowledge of these times, and along with it have spiritual commitment and a solid faith and cleanliness of life, there is nothing that you cannot achieve. And so kind of these dual aspects of the faith-based ideas and the solid nature of your testimony built up with the competency of the skills of life to move forward. And we become seriously unstoppable when those two things are together. So this is the curriculum of the camp is The 7 Habits of Highly Effective Teens by Sean Covey. And it's based on his dad's book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Stephen Covey is his name. You've probably heard of him. But this is the core curriculum that we use throughout the week. And upcoming summers, you'll be able to look for this and find it. One of the models they use, I think is awesome, that has to do with 7 habits, is they're really interested in helping you become more effective personally, which we call the private victory, which is the first 3 habits. And then you move to the public victory, which is where you have more success in relationships. And those are the next 3 habits. And I wanted to talk today a little bit about that public victory, relationships in general. And I think all of you have probably had those moments when you realize how important relationships are. When no one's at home for 2 or 3 days, the first day is kind of fun. But then after 2 or 3 days, you're kind of like, wow, I need people around me. My kids, when they were young, we'd get at Christmas time and we'd open up all the presents and we'd be having fun with these presents. And I'm thinking, man, I have invested a lot of money in this moment here. And the first thing he started asking in the afternoon is, when can I go to my friend's house? And I'm like, wait, you got all these toys. Why do you need friends? And first thing they do the next day is they want to engage with their friends to experience the toys and everything together. So toys are great, but toys with friends are even better. They're just everything. Everything about life is really summed up in the quality of our relationships. I hope it's obvious to everyone how much we need each other. But what we learn is relationships, like other things, need maintenance and intentional effort. And so you can't just think, oh, I have friends. You have to learn to maintain those relationships as you go. And so I wanted to share something with you today. It's a nice model to think about relationships. It's a bank account model. And you've probably heard this before. But the bank account model is really nice. It's a practical way to think about it. It's kind of like a checking account at a bank, right? And you can make some deposits and you can make withdrawals. And so if you think about your relationships, we can deposit it to strengthen it, or we can withdraw and it weakens our relationships. And so you kind of think, what do deposits look like? If I'm going to make a deposit in the relationship, what are some of those things that you've experienced that's created confidence in your relationships with other people? And you kind of think about it, and you can mull that over on your own. But I want to give you some suggestions of things that can really make a difference. Some deposits that are obvious that can really make a difference are, the first is to learn to keep your promises, right? You make these promises and everything goes well, you follow through, right? There's always these things you can do with kindness, little small acts of kindness that can really make a difference. Also, expressions of gratitude. You can compliment other people. Send them a little text, compliment their shoes. Hey, wow, I really like your tie. That's a compliment I always like to hear. Also, you like to hear about, if your hair looks good or not. But in my case, maybe at the resurrection, we'll get those compliments. But right now, I think my wife, in fact, at the resurrection will probably walk by and she'll do a double take and think, ooh, I've got an upgrade. So that's one of the advantages, I think, of losing your hair at a young age. But anyway, so some of those things can really be a strength to the relationships. Acknowledging others. When someone comes into a room, it's kind of nice to acknowledge them and just say, hey, how's it going? Hey, look who's in the house. Woo, woo. That's a great deposit for relationships. Also, sincerely listening to others can really make a big difference. Sitting down and realizing that another person has a reality that's different than yours, and you're listening to try to understand them instead of trying to maybe throw in your stories as they go. Just admitting that you did something wrong and saying you're sorry. What a great deposit that can be in your relationship. This with my kids, I love to do this. When I'm a parent and you just step into these realms you've never been before, you make a lot of mistakes. And just to approach your kids and say, hey, look, I'm sorry I said that. That was wrong. I should have let you go with that person, and you could have stayed out later than I would have assumed. Anyway, just acknowledging it and being sorry. Also, just making invites, right? There's some parties out there. We're going to gather together at so-and-so's house. You throw the invite to the people and try to bring more people in. It is so touching to receive that kind of invite from someone. And you immediately think, wow, these people care about me. What a great thing that is. Also, we want to be loyal, right? The more loyal you are to your friends, the more they can see how much you care about them and how much better health that relationship can have. Stephen Covey has this little comment. He says, there's one way you can be loyal, and that is to be loyal to the absent. When we're loyal to those who are not present, we build trust of those who are present. And so, when you're thinking about, I want to talk about other people behind their backs, when you're with other people and not in their presence, if you show loyalty to them when they're not with you, the people that are with you, it's an automatic deposit in that relationship because you're communicating the loyalty you have for others. So there are some withdrawals too, right? We can break promises, it's always a bummer. You don't want to do these. These are going to happen naturally. So you want to make it so that you have more deposits than withdrawals. But sometimes we unintentionally break the bank a little bit. We keep to ourselves. We don't reach out much. We gossip and break confidences. We use hurtful sarcasm. We kind of roll our eyes. We mock others. It's just a withdrawal, all in all. We ignore others, don't acknowledge them. We don't listen really to them. We're more interested in telling our own stories. We resist apologizing. We just kind of think, they'll be fine. No big deal. We set up false expectations where they don't really know what it's all about. So anyway, you can kind of see how this can really make a difference. So I wanted to give you a little bit of an analogy that hopefully can be in your mind about making deposits in your relationships. So this is a real thing. Imagine, this is a roadside curiosity in Indiana. So imagine a baseball with a coat of paint applied twice a day for over 30 years. Okay, so you have that in your head. How big do you think that ball is going to be? I want you to try to envision it in your mind. Say size of a basketball, size of a bowling ball, or whatever it might be. Well, there is a guy in Indiana. His name's Mr. Carmichael. He actually did it. He painted a ball for over 30 years, twice a day, and this is how it has turned out. You can see how big this ball is, and you can see how excited his wife is about this project. She's thinking, oh boy, another Friday night home painting the ball. This is fun, honey. You notice just off his ear, you see a list of people who have painted different layers on the ball. And he's also got the coat, the colors, because he really is fascinated. Here you can see him painting the ball each day. You can cut off one of the nodules and you can see all these layers that are on the ball and inside. And it's fascinating. He likes to really mix up the colors so that these cuts can be that much cooler. Here's the classic moment when he and his son were painting the first coat on that baseball. Now, they probably thought to themselves, this really isn't going to make that big a difference in size. And you can kind of see where this analogy is going, I hope. Here's the 1,500th coat painted by his son, who's quite a bit older now. And he's experiencing the ball is getting bigger. It's not on a chain yet, but it's definitely getting bigger. Here you have the 13,000th. You notice it's big, but not as big. 300th coat there by his daughter. If you go and visit him in Indiana, he'll let you paint a coat. He actually built a barn around it, the world's largest ball of paint, the roadside attraction that it is. It's free. And here he is inside his barn, ball of paint, holding a baseball and showing what difference each layer can make day by day. Here's another picture of him in his barn. So as you think about it, how does this painted baseball relate to relationships? And I think you can probably see the obvious parallels between these connection between these two. There are a lot of things that we do that don't really seem to make a big difference in our relationship. You would wonder, wow, this is such a small thing. How could it make any difference at all? But if you're consistent at these small efforts in nurturing your relationships, you can see the results will be over time, will be manifest in multiplied ways. And relationships are such a key element of the gospel too. You think the first two great commandments are to love God and to love our neighbors. They are relationship based. And I think every day we need to wake up and think, what can I do to put a coat of paint on this relationship with God and with my family members, with my parents, with my siblings, friends, teachers, whatever it might be. How can I increase my attention and my detail on how much these relationships, I care about them and how much they mean to me? So that, I think, will help us all live a better life. Here's Mark Twain says, I can live 3 months on a good compliment. So if we're going to look for a strong relationship bank account or emotional bank account, you got to know what matters to the person, know their currency, and be sincere and consistent. You need to make small deposits over time, a little layer, one over another, and it can become a huge ball of paint. Remember that close relationships require more deposits, and you try not to make withdrawals. Anyway, I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be with you guys and to witness of God's attention and love for all of us in his relationship with us. He is consistently making deposits in my bank account to let me know how much he cares, and I hope you feel that too. And I say that in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen. Back to you, Ashley and Jacob.
What an awesome message. Thank you so much, Brother Knowlton. It makes me think about the small things I'm painting each day.
Yeah, and how the little things we do really matter and how they can grow into something amazing.
That's so true. We hope you guys will comment below with something you learned from Brother Knowlton's message today.
I can't wait to read all your comments.
Thank you guys so much for joining us today, and remember, we are going to have another video next week, this time hosted by our EFY counselors, Kristen and Taylor.
Also, don't forget the hour-long virtual experience next month on July 21st.
See you soon! Anyone want to add to that? Any Woody? Any Woody? I said painting. I said planning, not painting.